Hello everyone again. We're back now doing this question here based on the sequence or the arithmetic sequence, right? So now what we need to consider on this question here, you first need to look at our sequence which we have been given here. So they say that consider the following linear number patterns. So they've already told you that what kind of sequence is this one. So you know that this is what a linear number pattern or an arithmetic sequence. So you know that on the linear number pattern there is only one common difference. There is no two or more. So we'll just need to find the value of D and the value of A here. Since we do have here what a variable which is x, so we need to find that value of x to get the real value of our first term, right? Now the first question says that is the above linear number pattern finite or infinite, right? So our number pattern here, you can see that we have given your first term and your second term, and then after your second term there are dots there, which means there are some values which are there between x minus 2 and what, and negative 141. So after negative 145 there is only one dot there. So that dot means that our sequence or our linear number pattern now is no longer continuing. So we cannot say it is infinity, because an infinity something if they say, for example, the graph is infinity, so we don't know the last value. So here on this one we know the last value here is negative 145, which is that value is the last term. We can say it is the last term, right? So our value here to answer this question, so our first question, we can just say since it says that is the above linear number pattern finite or infinite, so our linear pattern is finite, right? So now we are going to our second question. Says that show that x is equal to negative 3. As I said, that you need to have the value of that x. So they have already told you that the value of that x is negative 3. So you are solving what you know if what is going to give you. Let's solve it here. So it's x plus 8 is to x minus 2. And then you have what? Okay, right. So they say that show that x is equal to what? Is equal to negative 3. So you know that on your last term you do have what? You have that negative 145, right? So you need to work with that negative 141 and 145, so to get the difference there, so that you can know and use it on this one to get the value of x. You can just say your last term minus your second last term. So it's negative 145 minus into minus what? 141. So you will get what? Negative 4. So now here you know that your difference here is negative 4. So you can just say x minus 2 minus into 3x plus 8 is equal to negative 4. Now you can just break the brackets by the negative sign which is in front of the bracket. So 3x minus 8 is equal to negative 4. So here it's x minus negative 3x, so it's negative 2x. So it's negative 2 minus 8, it's negative 10, and then you take that 10 on that side, so it's going to be negative 4 plus 10, and then negative 2x is equal to positive 6, right? So you just divide by negative 2 both sides, and then your value of what of x is equal to negative 3. So we get that 3 which we have already told, so they just say that you are just showing them the value of x, so we get that negative 3, right? So here we have our third question there. Our third question says that determine the Tn, or the general term of this number pattern, in the form of what? Tn is equal to Bn plus C. So Tn is equal to Bn plus C. So this C stands for what? Stands for what? For a constant. And then this one stands for what? The value of what? Of the first term, right? So Tn is equal to, so since they say it must be on this form, so you can just first do like this one, right? So your value of a is, so you can just substitute by negative 3 at x, so you will get, and it's going to be negative 3 times, so it's going to give you negative 1. So no, not negative 1, sorry, I think it's negative 3 times 3 plus 8. Yes, it's negative 1. Yes, negative 1. Your first term it's negative 1 plus into n minus 1. Your difference is, we already know that your difference is negative 4. So you'll get, so now this equation, we need to make it to be in that form. You just simplify it to get to be in that form. So we will have negative 4n, so it's negative times negative, it's positive 4, then 4 minus 1, it's 3. So our equation now is on their form, which they say it must be in. So as you can see, we have Bn plus C. So this is the value of B, which is negative 4, and this is the value of what? Of C, which is positive 3. So to prove this equation, you can just take any position of the value which you see there. If you can just take what, or take 2, so the position which is 2, so you know that, you first know that your 2 there is, your T2 is negative 5, so substitute by what? By 2 here, it's going to give you negative 8. Negative 8 plus 3, it's negative 5. So our equation is correct. So now we are going to look at our fourth question, which says that calculate what? Calculate the value of T15, the 15th term. So that 15th term stands for what? That 15th term stands for the position, right? Stands for what? For the position. So you only need to take your equation there. It's Tn is equal to negative 4n plus 3. So in the value of n, you just put 15 is equal to negative 4 into 15 uh, is positive 15. So plus 3, then your T15 is negative 57. Right, now what we are going to do, let's look at the next question. Right, so our next question says that how many terms are in this number patterns. So this question, they could never ask this question if our equation there was infinity. So since it is finity, so they are asking this question. So they just need to know the position of that term. If we know the position of that term, it's like we know how many terms are in this sequence. So we just take our equation there. So we just substitute in the place of Tn, we put negative 145, and then we are looking forward for n. It's negative 4n. Remember, the value of n cannot be negative, don't forget that, and the value of n cannot be a decimal number, right? So just take 1 minus, what's negative 145, sorry, minus 3 is equal to negative 4n. Then here we'll have negative 148 is equal to negative 4n, and then we divide by negative 4, and then the value of n now is is 37. Now we can answer their question. So they said how many terms are in this number pattern. So the terms which are in this number patterns are 37. There are 37 terms here. This is the question, or this is the answer of this question. So you cannot just calculate and then leave it like that. You need to specify it's 37 terms, right? So we are now done with this question, right? So this is how you need to approach the questions based on the arithmetic sequence or a linear number pattern, right? Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe.